India's market cap will double to $10 trillion by 2030. That's the word coming in from global brokerage house Jefferies, highlighting India's continuous reforms will help India become the third largest economy by 2027. In fact, it retains the tag of the fastest growing large economy in the world. Now, Jefferies is quite positive, Krishna, on India. And of course, all of this on the back of the fact that it says India is reforming at a rate like never before. But what's more interesting, on market cap especially, India, remember, as we all know, overtook Hong Kong to become the fifth largest equities market in the world at about $4.5 trillion as of last month. It's going to double that in the coming years.
No, absolutely. As you're rightly pointing out, is the biggest headline as far as Indian stock markets are concerned that we've been happy to track and happy to receive that piece of news. This Jefferies' latest predictions and the latest estimations or projections are based on that, what has happened so far, and also what's going to happen going forward as well. Shweta, we've seen the fact that in as far as the Asian markets are concerned, it has been Japan which has been the clear outperformer, and apart from Japan, it has been India that has been consistently on a bull run for the last year or so and has been given consistently better returns over the last 10 to 20 years, whereas we've seen what has happened with the Chinese stock markets to the point where the Chinese government has to come in with a bailout package because of the situation that the Chinese stock markets find themselves in, and consequently because of which the Hong Kong stock markets are also being impacted by what's happening in China, because at the end of the day, Hong Kong is a part of China. So in this situation, you're talking about peers, Asian peers taking a backseat, and India, continuing to remain strong and bullish as a stock market, as an economy, as a country. So there is enough and more reasons. So if to some of the other reasons apart from what is happening in the stock markets and the economy that Jefferies is alluding to, is the fact that India has this vibrant startup ecosystem where more and more companies and unicorns are being born in this country. You have more and more people putting money into savings, into mutual funds through SIPs, and right now it's at a very small percentage of the money being put into bank deposits, but that number is only set to grow going forward. So all of the way forward looks extremely bright, and those are the factors upon which Jefferies is basing its projection.
All right, and Jefferies is also stating two very important things, I believe. One is that, of course, India's markets are growing at double digit and have been doing so for the past 10 years. So on the basis of those projections, we are hoping that the Indian equity markets will double in the next 7 years. But on top of that, I think it's also interesting that the global index weight of Indian markets is only to the point of about 1.6 to 2% at the moment, which means there is room for more foreign money to flow in.
Absolutely, and also foreign money has already been flowing in unabated into the country, be it in terms of a foreign portfolio investors or foreign direct investment coming into the country. There is enough or more interest in India, again primarily going back to what is happening in China. I mean, imagine this. Japanese investors in Japanese stock markets, who traditionally preferred having exposure to China because China is a better growth market as compared to Japan, are now reportedly taking off some of those bets and putting it into India, because India has a better chance of growth, both in terms of stock as a stock market and in terms of as an economy. So India is where money is set to flowing into going forward, be it in terms of foreign institutional investors pumping money into Indian stock markets and foreign portfolio investors, or in terms of foreign direct investment, in terms of just money coming into India in the form of investment to set up factories and plants and businesses in this country. So India as a magnet for attracting foreign investment is a very important factor playing in the minds of Jefferies and playing in the projections of Jefferies.
All right, and also while we are at it, Jefferies is also saying that India will be the third largest economy within the next couple of hours. This is what the government has been saying on various platforms, and we've discussed here at Newsline. So it's not so much about being the third largest economy as it is about the per capita GDP, which is where India lags behind some of its developed peers. Per capita GDP, not what many Indians would hope for or aspire for. Perhaps that needs to also be looked at if we were to compete globally with the first two biggest economies of the world.
Absolutely, Shweta. I mean, clearly, we have not covered all ground. What we have covered is and brought ourselves to the point is where we can really hope to achieve that per capita GDP that you're talking about. Yes, we have that ground to cover over the next 5 to 10 years for sure to get into an ideal per capita GDP figure. We are not there as of yet. But what Jefferies does by making these projections is that India has a chance to do that, simply because of not just the domestic consumption story and the fact that India has a huge population and a huge young population, and the economy is only set to grow, but in terms of money coming into the economy, the amount of global interest into the economy, all of that can translate into not just the overall headline GDP figure beating all estimates, but also a genuine rise in the per capita GDP figure as well.
Right. The per capita GDP or the per capita income figure, perhaps that is where we need more debates and discussions. But as far as Jefferies is concerned, good news for India. India's market cap is likely to double within the next 4 to 5 years. That according to Jefferies, of course, and India continues to enjoy the tag of the fastest growing major economy, something that investors have been vying for. Perhaps FIIs, FPIs will also be vying for India as an equities market to pump in more money in the next couple of years.